Welcome to the 1000 GM Player Profiles. I'm your guide, expert Coach Q, and I'm here with Grandmaster Titas Stremavicius. And welcome to the show, Titus. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate that. And we're talking to you today because you're going to fly to America to play the 1000 GM Hollywood Masters tournament here in Los Angeles. Have you ever been to Los Angeles before?
No, I don't think so. No, it's not
Oh,
gonna be my.
great. So you haven't even walked the Hollywood Walk of Fame or anything yet.
No, I have not. No.
Okay, great. So then let's talk about it. Why are you going to come out all the way out to the West Coast to play this event?
Well, I mean, I've been keeping in touch with Josiah. We are on pretty good terms, and he told me that there's gonna be some events in the upcoming fall,
Great.
and I contacted him asking if there are gonna be any tournaments soon, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a tournament." And I was probably one of the first people to actually sign up for the event. So basically, my relationship with Josiah really is the driving force for me coming to Los Angeles to play.
Okay, so for the viewers, that's International Master Josiah Stearman, one of our main organizers and guru of connecting all the players. So okay, how did you know Josiah from the tournament circuit or?
Yeah, we just played a couple tournaments. He escaped against me a couple times, so there was no hard feelings sort of between us. So yeah, we just started chatting during events, and that's how relationships are born, right? You just talk to people.
Yeah, and you're currently located in Lithuania, is that right?
Yeah, I've been in the US for the last like I was in the US for like 5 years or
Oh,
so.
okay, great.
But I recently left to play the Olympiad, and now my immigration status is a little bit complicated, so I'm in Europe, basically.
Okay, okay. And so then, did you go to college here in the States?
Yeah, I was at UT Dallas. I was the on the chess team there.
Oh, we just talked to Grandmaster I forgot how to pronounce his name. Uh,
Which country?
Ivan from Moldova.
Oh, Ivan. Yeah, yeah.
Grandmaster. I completely blanked on how to pronounce his name. I don't want to say it wrong.
I'm
But
assuming it's Skitko, but I'm not
Skeetko, Skeetko.
100%
That's
also.
right. That's right. That's right. Skeetko. Yeah, yeah. We had a great conversation with him. So was he your teammate, or did he come after you?
He was just after me. He actually, I think, messaged me before deciding to come to UT Dallas because he wasn't sure at the time. It's a big commitment. So he was consulting me for like a couple minutes, on a call, and yeah, I told him, yeah, you go for it. It's a great opportunity, and you should take it.
Okay, great. And did you have a scholarship at UT Dallas as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so how important are those kind of scholarships? Um, in how I guess how important was it in your career to get that kind of scholarship?
Career-wise, maybe it's not so important, but it's definitely for the education.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to the States. I probably would have stayed in Europe.
Okay.
So it was really like amazing opportunity to kind of get out there, live in the US for 5 6 years, and I wanted to stay afterwards, but again, it's a little bit complicated nowadays with the immigration stuff. So yeah, it was amazing. I was very happy with my experience there, and yeah, I look forward to coming back to the US in the future if I manage to complete my immigration transition.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're a grandmaster, right?
Yes.
So you're going to be providing, you're a norm provider at this Super Swiss, um, but it is a really strong one. So, so what do you expect from the event?
It's hard to predict. Obviously you have your rating favorites. Those are probably the safe bets to do well in, do well in the tournament but you never know. Some people can overperform. Like that's the beauty of sports.
Yeah.
That's why we compete, right? You don't know who's gonna win at the end of the day. It's not the favorites that always manage to come on top. So I'm expecting again that rating favorites to do well, but some of us in the first and second sort of what are they called? In the top 20, I would say, everyone has a legit chance to finish in the top 5 or so.
Right, right. And what's your current rating?
25-15, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, you're in the upper, at least quarter of the bracket.
Yeah.
So there will be quite a few young players that are seeking norms that want to beat you.
Sure.
If we could talk about your approach to players like that, especially ones that you probably don't really know that well, how do you approach those games, and what do you expect to get from them?
I do think I actually know a decent amount of the younger
Oh,
players,
okay, okay,
for, already 5 years or so.
yeah,
So, for example, Woodward Andy, like I'm fairly familiar with him.
okay.
I'm not sure who else is there exactly, but
Oh, you're looking at the list. I see.
yeah,
Here's
I'm
your
looking at
cheat
the
sheet.
list. Yeah, I know all these players. Like I've seen Oberoi. Like I think he's played in Dallas Chess Club as well. So I'm fairly familiar with the players. Regarding my approach, I tend to enjoy playing younger players
Mhm.
because I'm a big favorite against them, and it kind of just gives me confidence. And like I know I know more than them. I know I am more experienced than them. So
Yeah.
obviously more motivated. They're working harder. They're like more motivated and have more energy, but still have the experience factor in my corner. So I'm always excited to play young players because I know that again I feel like I'm the favorite, and I don't really like stress about their low ratings or anything like that, because in the end of the day you have to play whoever you're paired against. It's no point dreading over these underrated players. So my approach is trying probably to sort of get out the opening as quickly as possible, and then take them to the streets, so to speak, in a long grind. And it's worked sometimes. It's backfired a couple times, as well.
Could we call that the Magnus approach?
I guess so, yeah.
Where,
I'm not sure if Magnus was the first to do this, but
yeah,
I,
true, yeah,
sort of accomplished in that approach for
yeah.
sure.
He's made it famous though as in chess as a sport.
Right.
Even people outside of chess know that Magnus intends to just get a good game, and he's not putting every ounce into openings.
Yeah.
So this is a super Swiss, so you won't get your pairings really that far ahead of time. Will you actually prepare for any of the opponents, or specifically, like look at the database, look at their openings and things like that?
Between the rounds, I mean, I don't know exactly how much time we'll have. Probably like around an hour, maybe
Uh-huh.
at most. So maybe 30 minutes of that hour is gonna be dedicated to like looking something over, just so I'm not, completely going in the dark.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's American chess, right? It's 2 rounds a day, short time control, so it's kind of a sprint, but it's also a marathon at the same time,
hmm,
because it requires like a lot of energy, and you can run out of it very quickly.
yeah.
Because how intense the tournament is. So yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time to prepare, but nothing too crazy. And yeah, again, just try to play chess and do well.
Yeah, will you play any different against, say, let's say you're playing well and you're winning, you end up paired against like 2600, like maybe Lenderman or someone like that.
Well, Lenderman is not 2600
Oh, he's
anymore.
25. Oh, yeah, he dropped. That's right. Well, the
Um,
pandemic's been hard on the older players. Yeah,
it's been hard on everyone. It's been hard on everyone.
yeah,
No,
true, true.
Lenderman's he's probably going to come back. We actually chatted a little bit between tournaments. He's had some rough, just a rough time recently, in chess and of course with the pandemic as well. Um, but yeah, 2600 players. Obviously, they're in a different league.
Yeah.
Especially someone like Nizhnik, who's like the heavy favorite. I personally always enjoy playing Ilya because I feel like it's just such a privilege, to play someone at his level.
Yeah.
And really, there aren't that many players in the U.S. Opens that play like at his level.
Yeah.
He's probably the most famous, I would say, in the U.S. Opens.
He is,
So
definitely.
obviously, it's kind of the opposite, compared to playing someone who's like a little bit younger, a little bit less experienced. Because I feel like I am sort of under a lot of pressure from basically.
Right.
I definitely felt that, at least against Italy, I felt like I was, sort of a big underdog against him for sure. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to play these, great players. If I'm doing well, my approach might be, to try to be a little bit more solid.
Yeah.
But again, like it's not as I like to say, chess is, it's not a one-person game. Like you might have a, certain plan coming into the game, but if your opponent has the opposite plan, like you both can't get your plans, on the board.
That's right.
So, uh, anything can happen basically, and it should be fun. Should be fun. We'll see how it goes.
I appreciate that perspective. Okay, real quick, let's talk about playing conditions. How important is it to have a very professional and well presented tournament hall, and then also the same thing with your room
Um, let's see. The room hall is probably the more important, I would say, for me personally.
conditions?
Um, because I've had experiences where there's like phones ringing, people talking, and like I don't really mind it, but at the same time, it's kind of a disservice to the game of chess. Like I want to play in like a refined environment where like everyone's serious, everyone's focused, and not like if we're playing a serious tournament, obviously like there's exceptions, when everyone's like playing in a more of a laid back atmosphere and laid back circumstances. But in like serious tournaments, with good players, I want the playing hall and the playing conditions be as good as they can be. Yeah, and the room, it's important, I think, to room with someone that you see eye to eye to, rather than have like a amazing deluxe suite or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you're rooming with someone who you dislike, or like they're get on your nerves, they're just gonna like completely ruin your rhythm, and they completely ruin your concentration, and it's gonna lead to disaster, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I feel like the roommate is more important than the room itself, I would say.
Yeah, if you do get along with your roommate, do you review games and prep with them, or do you usually do that independently?
I think you still want to do it independently because everyone's different, right? It's kind of hard to you might have different colors, for example, coming to the next round, especially with limited time that you have between rounds in
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
this. So you probably want to do it separately, but you also want to kind of hang out, in the evening, relax, talk a little bit. So it's like, yeah, I feel like it's more for the camaraderie rather than, like mutual preparation, mutual preparation.
Okay, and let's transition one or two more questions on the event. You are a professional, so how important is it for you to get paid to attend these kind of events?
Um, that's an interesting question. Yeah, personally, I feel like if you wanna get paid doing something, you probably shouldn't be doing chess in the first place, or at least not
Okay,
playing it. You
that's a
might be
good
teaching,
fair,
you might be creating courses.
right. Fair answer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So when I play, I don't want to be taken for granted. Like I don't want to be treated worse than some of my peers. But other than that, I don't really play for the possible paycheck of
yeah.
it. And if you want to get a paycheck, probably just do something. Program is
Well,
very
we
popular these days.
we hope that 1,000 GM can continue to increase the paychecks that professional chess players are getting. It's definitely challenging, especially in America. I don't know. Does your federation support? Does the Lithuanian Federation support chess players monetarily at all, or?
I would not say so.
Okay. And yeah, I mean it's changing in America, but it's still it's not nowhere near other sports. Even minor league footballers and minor league baseball players and things like that are getting paid a reasonable living wage. It's hard for grandmasters unless they're teaching or creating courses, and obviously
Yeah.
that has opened up significantly. But it's very challenging. Let's talk about real quick about obtaining titles. Um, you're a grandmaster and you had to spend a lot of time and money probably attending events to gain your FM, IM, GM title, working your way up the ladder. Um, Do you have any idea how much money you spent doing that?
All right, let me think a little bit.
Yeah, tough question. You have to estimate it. Just a general
Yeah.
ballpark. I'm just curious.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't the one who was paying for it at the
Right,
start.
right.
So it's like even harder to kind of estimate that
Yeah.
because I know how much my parents actually spend on it.
Right.
I mean, I can say like from IM to GM, I think would be like where I was the one who was responsible for it, and that's where the chess scholarship kind of also helped a lot.
Right.
From IM to GM, I don't think I actually spent that much, just because you can already get some conditions in some events, at least in Europe, probably in the US as well. And once I got like more serious, like I was playing. Like I remember two of my norms were like one norm was in a local tournament in Lithuania, that was basically for free.
Oh wow,
Then
great.
yeah, one norm was in the Olympiad, so that was also kind of paid for everything.
Oh
And the
nice.
last norm was in the St. Louis Invitational, and St. Louis also kind of paid for everything because they're you know really good at paying for everything. Um,
Well, that's great. You surprised me with that answer. How important is it to you that it was free or cheap?
yeah, I would not have played in St. Louis otherwise. Let's put it like that.
Got it.
Because as an IM who was hunting for his GM norm, I didn't have to pay any entry fee. I got free accommodation as far as I can remember, and
Wow.
maybe they even pay for my flight. I'm not sure about that one, but if they didn't, then the university paid for it because I was still at UTD at the time.
That's great.
So it wasn't actually that expensive to get from IM to GM. Getting to IM probably was fairly expensive, going to tournaments everywhere for my parents. But again, I'm not sure how much they actually spend on it.
Yeah, I mean it's fairly expensive. So let's end this segment with like what I consider the hard question: is there systemic discrimination in chess toward financially privileged players? Meaning, do they have better access to titles and to higher level events that will get you those titles?
I don't know if it's systemic discrimination, but they definitely have more opportunities
Mm-hmm.
to achieve just more choice basically where they want to participate because if money's not a factor, they do play wherever they want. There's some speculation that some people even buy their games and titles.
Oh
uh,
wow.
I saw some Czech GM losing. I think it was on Twitter. The Norwegian. I forget his name, but the Norwegian. What's his name? The guy who's like works for press for the Norwegian chess, basically.
Tarjay Stevens.
Yeah. He was like pointed out like some GM lost in the same way he beat someone earlier that year or something like that.
It's funny.
I
I
hope.
saw that exact tweet, and I don't really go on Twitter very often.
Right. So definitely. Let's say if someone is more wealthy, they can afford even to buy games, which is it's a big problem in itself, right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't say it's maybe systemic discrimination, but there's more opportunity for financially privileged people,
Right.
and it kind of everything starts basically, not even with tournaments, but how you're raised up, how you're prepared, who's your how much finances are spent on coaching and resources of that sort. So again, financially privileged people definitely have more access to those resources than the inverse of the financial privilege.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's not an easy question to answer. Obviously, it's hard to you don't have all the data in front of you, and
Absolutely.
but it is pretty obvious that players need more monetary support, just generally, and we hope that 1000 GM can help provide that, and any donors out there would give today. So I hope if you're watching and you have the funds, please click on the link below and give a donation because it's not cheap to put on these events, especially in places like Los Angeles where the event space is expensive, and it's important, like we said in earlier in the conversation, to keep a certain high level quality in the event space as well. So thank you to any donors and anyone thinking of giving. We really appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to. I actually want to start with the Olympiad because you told me before the show that you played for the Lithuanian team. So I want to hear about your experience. First, where did you play on the team? On what board? And what does your team composition look like?
Yeah, so I played for our team in the Olympiad twice now. The most recent ones in India and in Georgia, Batumi.
Great.
Um, in India, I was on board 2,
Awesome.
and we had a really strong young squad. It was basically 4 GMs that were in the age group of like 20, maybe 20 to 26 or something like that.
Excellent.
And one FIDE Master was the national champion actually that year.
Wow.
Then in 2018 we also had a very similar core. We had 3 same guys with me included, and we had 2 sort of GMs. One was on board 1 to kind of shelter us from the Magnuses of the world, and one was on the last board, just to sub in when something was going wrong or. And they both did really well as well. So it was we did really well both times. Like we overperformed quite a bit. I think like around 20 places both times.
Great.
So
congrats.
yeah, we had pretty good success. And in India, we finished 10th.
Wow.
That was pretty good as well. Our last 2 boards won the last 4 games, like both of them. So it was really a strong finish from them. And our 3rd board, or was it 4th board? Excuse me. 4th board got a medal, the silver medal on board 4.
All right, shout him out. What's his name?
Paulius Pultinavicius. Yeah, 2750 performance or so. So shout out.
Yeah, congrats. That's fantastic. What a performance.
Absolutely.
So then, tell me what it feels like to play such an event. I mean, it's one of the most collegiate events in 2-3 years, right? I mean, just generally, Olympiad's not every year, so it's one of the best events, I assume.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to play?
It's different from any other event, right? Like you have participants from all around the world. It's very inclusive, right? You get people from countries you might never like interact otherwise with. So it's very, very inclusive, very enjoyable atmosphere in that sense. Like everyone gets a chance to participate. It is a team event also, so it kind of a little bit specific, like different from an individual event. Has its specifics. If one of the guys is not doing well, you have a sub that can kind of fill in the shoes. So it's kind of easier when you have someone else to rely on as well. If you mess up, there's a chance that someone else in your team can lift the team back up, right? And
right.
The team result is obviously what matters at the end the most. I think some podcast with Fabiano Caruana.
Yeah.
He was like kind of the opposite of that, and I agree. Like it feels terrible when you lose, but like that's not the primary that's not the primary concern in a team event. Like the team's result is the primary concern, right?
Right. And just for the audience, real quick, Fabi, his performance was sub his standard, really. Like, he didn't perform as well as he normally would in such an event against the players that he played against, even though he played against some of the best players in the world still. So, nothing bad on Fabi.
Yeah, and he felt for sure more sort of responsibility as well because they were the favorites, right? So
yeah, that's right.
Double the worst because of it. So it's different situations, obviously, for the U.S. team and for the Lithuanian team.
Yeah.
Not really playing for medals or anything like that, but again, it was both times I played. Our team like overperformed. We did really well. In the 2018 Olympiad, I got my 2nd GM norm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was pretty good. This Olympiad I think I finished with like +1 on board 2.
That's great.
Played some of the best players in Europe. We played, I think, back-to-back. We played Croatia, Germany, France, and Ukraine.
Wow.
And all players had... I was playing like 26-80 player every single game.
Wow.
2 European champions in Saric and Bluebaum. Moussard, the current French champion, I think, and last round I was playing Kuzubov. So it was a very, very star-studded for me, sort of 4-round sequence. and I was really excited, but also I got kind of beat down in a couple of games. So at the end of the day, but it was I've never experienced like four games in a row against such stars of the chess world, basically. So it was I guess it was a great experience for me.
Wait, so all these teams had to travel to India from Europe to play in India.
Yeah,
You played
yeah.
all these European teams. Is that because the tradition of chess in Europe is super strong? Is that why all of these countries have such strong teams?
Yeah, I guess it's just been historically that way. France is also, I think, and Germany as well. Like they're also kind of have a generation change, sort of,
Yeah.
especially Germany. Like everyone was fairly young on the German team, as far as I can remember. Croatia had a little bit older players, so they did a little bit worse. But it's like the chess boom is definitely also kind of contributing to that.
Mm.
And Europe does have the resources, does have the tradition to sort of do the generation change and raise these great players. Like Kamer was playing for Germany.
Yeah.
I was playing Bluebaum. Yeah, and Musard is also like really strong right now as well. So yeah, tradition definitely helps, and obviously the chess boom, and everyone's getting stronger. Like the game is becoming even more inclusive, and the level is gonna get higher and higher.
Yeah, I appreciate that perspective. That's really interesting. Okay, let's move on to your play and your early life. I like to hear, what got you into chess and when you first started playing. So let's start with that. When did you first start playing?
I believe my grandfather taught me maybe when I was like 4 or 3 to play chess.
Great.
He wasn't really a competitive player himself, but like when you see those old guys in the park, I don't know if he was actually going to the park, but he was kind of like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of got me interested in the game, and then a couple of years later, I went to like an actual chess sort of practice environment where I had a coach and weekly lessons, and it was like I would go almost every day after school, and it got me hooked slowly but surely, and that's basically how it started.
Was the school program a part of your school curriculum, or was there like a coach there at the school that like ran the club or something like that?
No, it wasn't related to the school at all. Like I would
Oh,
finish, and then I would drive to a different location, and then that's where the chess practice would take place.
oh, at a club.
I don't think it was a club. I think it was like how's it called? It was like a sports school sort of situation,
Oh,
where
interesting.
activities,
Yeah.
and you choose whatever you want to go to.
Well, that's very interesting because we don't really have those kind of sports schools in America
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because most sports programs are attached to schools. What is this type of sports program? If you can, I know a little bit about it, but if you can explain it for the audience.
So again, it just has different activities you can choose from, like shooting, taekwondo, let's say, and football, basketball, chess, whatever you want to choose, and
Hmm.
it happens all in one sort of building. But at the time, like chess was kind of I guess segregated, maybe is the right word. I don't know if it's the right word, but it was sort of apart
Sep-
from all,
yeah, separate. Yeah.
separate from all the other sports, and yeah, that's how it started.
And in your what town is this? Just from the background.
Kaunas, Lithuania, second largest.
Okay, so Kaunas, the second largest city in Lithuania. So then, there a strong tradition at this school?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. There was a lot of strong players. I would say Kaunas had it still probably does have the most sort of strong players come from the city. Even especially in recent years as well. Like on the Olympic team, for example, 3 of the guys were from Kaunas.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay.
um, Definitely there was a lot of tradition, and I remember always kind of regretting not being a little bit born a little bit sooner, because we had like this '90s generation, and it kind of was mythicized, sort of like these
Yeah.
guys like playing that much anymore, because I'm like 8 years younger than them. But like when you see all these names, like you really wanted to kind of be a part of that environment, part of that generation. So I was
Well,
always sad, but it didn't really kind of detriment me that much, I guess.
Americans may not know the names, but I'm just curious. Can you just list a few names that inspired you?
Well, they were big for our sort of, environment, right? Like they were 23, 2200 players,
Oh,
FIDE
okay,
Masters. So it wasn't like they were, Grandmasters or anything like that. But
right.
I was younger, like there weren't that many good players in Lithuania, and even there isn't that many right now. So again, like in my generation, the 98 generation, there's not really anyone else who even plays chess these days from Lithuania. So when you see that 90s generation where they had, actually like a fair amount of FIDE Masters, some I think there was a couple of IMs as well. You really want to be part of that as well.
Awesome, awesome. So does that make you a role model now? Are players looking up to you now?
God, I hope not. Uh,
That's a fair answer.
like I actually don't spend that much time in Lithuania nowadays.
Mhm.
Well, nowadays I spend more time, but like a couple of years ago, right, I was in the US for the most part. So I don't know like how many younger players actually know about me, and how much they actually pay attention to my games and whatnot.
Okay.
Um, I don't know how many people actually try to study the Dutch, for example. Probably not many. Um, so
uh, that's
I
funny.
don't know. I would have to ask them again, but I hope not. I hope not.
So you play the Dutch. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna put that into my pocket for later because that's an interesting question. Um, okay, so let's move on to what got you into competitive chess then. So you start. I guess at this school did. Did you? I mean, but when did you first know that you were good, or your parents knew that you were good and you could compete at higher levels?
Um, it was pretty quick, I'd say, because I was playing like in the national championships, my age group, and I think my first one I already, finished fourth with like maybe a half year of training.
Wow.
So, like again, locally, nationally, it was pretty clear that, I was pretty good already. But obviously, Europe wise, I wasn't ever very good. I finished maybe two times in the top five in Europe in my age group.
Okay.
Um,
Still great.
and
Still great.
yeah, it's still okay.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's not ever like it's never a sprint, right? Like how I think Kramnik said in one of his interviews, it's a marathon, right? Like whoever finishes on top at the end is the one who wins. So,
That's right.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for my time. Um, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, nationally, I think it was pretty clear, like very early on, that I was like really good at my age at least. And then obviously, like when I was 14, 15, I was starting to play with the in the national championship, and I did again okay. I didn't do anything special. I finished with like 50% or something like that. So it was pretty early on. I would say I knew that or everyone knew that I was kind of decent at the game at the very least.
And then was it your parents that were encouraging you to play, or was it the friends and camaraderie or anything like that?
I was probably just myself very interested. I always kind of regret that my parents didn't push me more.
Okay, okay.
Also, the circumstances in Lithuania, there was like maybe not that many accomplished coaches, I would say.
Right.
Uh, I feel like if I, had, for example, like the Indian team right now, if I had, or the Uzbek team, if I had Ivan Sokolov from day one of my, chess career coaching me, I'd probably be a 2700 player by now. But not all of us have that opportunity. Not everyone has, the same circumstances.
Right.
So I regret that in a way, but at the same time, what happened. I'm really happy to where I am now as well, chess wise. Grandmaster is still a reasonably difficult thing to accomplish,
Yeah.
just as with Josiah. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the future turns out.
Well, I guess along with that, you got a degree. Did you get a bachelor's or a master's from UTD?
I only got my bachelor's so
Okay.
far. I'm thinking of getting my master's later in the future, but for now, I want to kind of concentrate on playing chess.
Which was harder, getting the Grandmaster title or getting your bachelor's?
I mean, bachelor's is, pretty like you just have to show up basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So your grandmaster actually have to win some games at some point.
Right, right. Okay, so then would you so can you give me a breakdown of what age you hit each mark, maybe FIDE Master, IM, GM?
I never got FIDE Master actually.
Oh, that's interesting. Why
Because
not? Why not?
because you had to pay for it yourself. The federation wouldn't pay for it.
Oh,
So
interesting.
there was just like no point getting FIDE Master. But I think 2300 was maybe 16.
Okay.
Then IM was 17, and then GM was 21 or 20, 21 maybe 20, 21.
So
21.
so to me that shows some element of confidence that you're gonna get you will get the IM title at that time when you're 16. You didn't even apply for the FM title. So
Oh yeah. I always thought it was just a matter of time, like both with IM and GM. Like it was just kind of like a fact that I'm gonna get it.
yeah.
Just
Was
depends
that
when.
Can you pinpoint any victories that gave you that confidence or anything like that?
Uh, I think defeats are more motivating than victories, honestly.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a hot take. There you go. Interesting.
I remember like when I actually started working actively again, because when I first got to university, I kind of switched focus a little bit, and I'm sure a lot of people do that. You're in a new environment, you're trying to focus on your studies a little bit more. So chess was kind of in the back. And then I remember this tournament where I lost to actually one of the players who's playing the event, Dennis Kidrich from Bosnia. And I was just so upset after that game. I was like, I cannot let this happen ever again. So actually, I think maybe next week I contacted a guy from Lithuania who's now my sort of coach.
Okay.
We started working basically after that loss, and slowly but surely we got everything I lost, all the points back, and then started getting GM norms and got GM eventually.
You want to shout out your coach?
Yeah, Donatas Vaznonis was also our coach for the Olympic team as well.
All right, great. And so what did you see in that loss in your game that you had to work on? What specific elements did you end up working on from that?
Well, opening is obviously the most obvious one, right?
Yeah.
I feel like my openings at the time were basically non-existent, and they're still pretty weak to this day, but at the time they were just non-existent. I was blown off the board. Even though maybe if you're playing well, you don't have to know openings. Even if you get into a bad position after the opening, the game is not over, right?
Right.
So if you play perfectly from that point onward, you can still probably, even win the game, regardless of how bad the position is. But I am of the mentality that good positions lead to good results.
Yeah.
When you're starting with a handicap every single time, it kind of, detriments from you doing actually well in the games.
It's such an uphill battle to
Right,
have to
exactly.
recover your position from a worse position.
Yeah, it's like you're giving your opponent a free advantage for no reason. So we try to kind of, brush up on that. I started playing some new openings. I was playing, I think, Sicilian and Dutch at the time.
Yeah.
Only Black, for example, and for White, I didn't have any openings basically. If someone plays the Nimzo, I'm out of book on move 5, even though the Nimzo is the most common D4, 1D4, right? So it was just really a mess.
That's funny.
But we brushed up. We started playing some new lines. I actually got all 3 of my norms. I won a key game in the perk defense with Black,
Wow.
against strong players, which is kind of crazy when I think about it right now. But perk was the opening that actually probably got me to GM.
So for the audience, as far as modern chess theory goes, the perk is considered a subpar opening. It's not a great choice.
Right.
That's very interesting.
So yeah, we brushed up openings, and then a couple years, maybe 3rd or 4th year, I think it was in the university, that there was also a coach switch. The former coach was Radovanovic, international master, and then we got Sadora, Grandmaster
Oh wow,
Sadora, our
great.
new coach, and there was kind of like a change of mentality with him coming over.
Yeah,
But because with like the former coach, everyone was kind of a little bit laid back, I would say.
yeah,
When it comes to like chess and working on the game. When Sadora, came, it's like new energy. He's, younger, like he's obviously a better player as well.
yeah,
There's like an influx of this like new energy, and it took a little bit of time to sort of accustomed to it because you're still like kind of used to like not really giving a damn. But it really helped also being in that environment like with other players because it's like secondhand chess is like secondhand smoking, right? Even if you're not working on something yourself, if you see someone else working on it, you like make a glance, try and
yeah,
figure it out yourself. And it's like if you do that every day, some of it is going to rub off on you eventually.
yeah.
So the environment, and getting an actual coach and learning some lines, that was basically what it took to take the next step.
Yeah. Well, that definitely makes sense. I spent a week with Wesley So at a tournament. I feel like my skills just improved significantly from that. Of course, I've already forgotten
Yeah.
everything from that like 6 years ago, but so yeah, that's very interesting. So I'm also interested in what kind of work you do even outside of your chess play. Do you do anything physically to keep yourself fit or diet wise to train? You can
Not
be
really.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I did a little bit more. You're always kind of like optimistic about the future, I would say, but in the past, I would say that it's been a little bit lacking for sure, for sure. The physical preparation and the physical endurance.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, players approach the game differently. But do you do anything for relaxation, or are you almost always thinking about chess?
I would say music is
Okay.
my form of relaxation. I don't really like watching movies that much nowadays because I feel like every movie is kind of the same. Uh, so I would definitely say that music is probably my number one go-to after like 2 4 hour 5 hour games of chess.
Okay, what are your favorite bands then?
Favorite bands? Well, I mostly listen to J-pop recently.
Oh, wow.
Basically to anime songs. Yeah.
Nice. That's
Uh,
interesting.
yeah. Before that, I remember my music taste was frozen in like 2010s when I would not any like new song like Pitbull was
Okay.
my
Okay. Yeah.
my bread and butter basically, and trying to remember who else was in 2010s.
Wait, so
Maybe
when you win a good game, do you put on music and dance to the music?
I mean I dance without the music. I
Okay.
find it myself,
Okay.
like
Yep. Nice,
if
nice.
it's a really good game,
I
I'm
like
really
that.
happy.
Yeah, what?
I remember when I was when I beat Lenderman last time we played. I was like nodding my head during the game,
Okay,
like
okay.
done man.
Yeah, so then what song
Uh,
would you think is on repeat in your head or on your playlist?
uh playlist. I like the "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees,
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're gonna go for an oldie. Nice, nice, nice.
especially when it's like a comeback win.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Nice, nice. That's excellent. I like that a lot. I appreciate you digging deep for that. I know it's not an easy question for a chess player, but it's funny because a lot of people would think that you probably just eat, breathe, and sleep chess. Is that a fair assessment, or do you have to
Not
do
even
other things
close.
outside of chess?
I'm sure you don't have to. Like I'm sure there are people who do chess nonstop.
Yeah, yeah.
I just never had like the drive, I guess, that those people do.
Right.
Uh, I have to. I just lose focus, honestly. Like again, I'm just a human, right? So
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
it's just for a little bit, and I'm like, I don't want to look at this anymore. Can I like go on Twitter and read, what chess drama we have on the day.
Okay,
Uh,
what chess drama are you following? I'm gonna guess it's one specific piece of drama, but is there anything else?
I don't know of anything else.
Okay.
Well, that cheating, or not cheating, but the Czech player, right, dropping a game potentially on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm following that, but I'm familiar with that a little bit.
Okay, I gotta ask the question then. How important or how relevant is cheating in chess right now?
Uh, which type of cheating are we talking about here?
Oh, that's a hot take. What are the types of cheating?
Well, again, like for example, prearranging games, is that a form of cheating or not?
Yes,
I would say.
definitely. According to the official
Then
rules, yes.
obviously, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then obviously, like actual cheating using assistance, right? Be it from a computer or from someone else, online over the board, obviously.
So we got two
I'm
types
sure
right
there are.
there. Two types, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess there's like those three that come to mind immediately. I'm sure there's some others maybe as well.
So from a sportsman perspective, match fixing, right? That's match fixing.
Yeah.
And then using outside assistance,
Yeah.
which even the baseball teams did here in America. They use intercoms and they use some pretty low tech stuff, banging on trash things, trash lids. I don't think that would work in a chess tournament though, right? To signal a player to make a move, if they banged on a trash can.
It sounds like it wouldn't, but I'm sure like in big fields and especially in like children tournaments, some crazy stuff about like children events where like coaches, just tell moves and then like the other kid is trying to explain him like what's happening, and he can't because the coach doesn't speak the language he's speaking, for example. So I've heard some crazy stories regarding cheating in children's events, and I think it's way more common actually than in like professional events like the one we're gonna have in Los Angeles.
Right, right. Well, I appreciate that. That's kind of missed from the conversation right now because everybody's focused on Magnus and Hans, right? They're all focused on and some Hikaru because he wants to create all the drama for his show. But just generally, most of the cheating happens at a lower level, right? I think one question that I think hasn't been talked about that you can weigh in here is why do coaches and players why do they cheat? What drives them to do that in a sport like chess?
Do you mean the children's events or just overall?
I would say you can start with the children's events, but overall, mostly is what I'm interested in.
Or yeah, the youth events, I guess that's more.
Yeah, youth events, yeah.
Yeah, youth events, I would say it's the parents, right? Like it's not the coach, it's not the player, because like what can a 10-year-old kid understand really about the situation? Like nothing.
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, like okay, 16 is already maybe puberty is hitting you a little bit, but these are still very young individuals, and obviously it's the parents who push them towards this. Or at least even if it's not the parents pushing them, and it's like the kid actually wants to cheat himself, then it's probably he wasn't raised right? So it's really hard to sort of pinpoint, something like I don't like pinpointing blame on the player mostly in those circumstances.
Yeah,
because I think better, or if the coach is also forcing him to cheat, then obviously like you're gonna do what your coach tells you, or you're gonna do what your dad tells you, So it's really hard to pinpoint any blame on the kids. As to like professional player, like higher level of play, right? With adults, I mean it's a number of factors. I would assume I don't ever think it's monetary, especially like maybe like if in Topalov Kramnik match that could be like a monetary incentive to cheat. But
those are already like, players with high level ethics, so
right. So maybe in a world championship match, yeah, you can, find monetary reasons to cheat.
Is it prestige then?
I would say I don't even know. Like, I don't think it's even prestige because, like, it's one tournament, right? You're gonna win one tournament, unless you do it consistently. Then it might, turn into prestige. But if you only cheat like in one tournament, for example, it's not monetary. It's not maybe like just wanna, maybe you feel like you can't do it yourself, so you kind of wanna, just do it once or something. But obviously, if you do it once, you're gonna do it twice, and
That sounds like
that's
human insecurity then.
yeah, oh, that's a very good way to put it. Yeah, human insecurities. I
Yeah.
would say was probably one of the more reasonable assumptions to make why people cheat.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that perspective. I don't want to take too much more time on that. We got to wrap up pretty shortly here, but I want to hear going back to the 1000 GM Hollywood Classic. What are you doing to prepare for the event specifically?
Specifically, well, I'm not doing anything differently. I'm playing a tournament actually just before that in Romania.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of also very strong field, very strong players, very similar sort of situation. Like it's very strong grandmasters playing there. Besides that, I mean, I'm trying to brush up on my openings as usual. I haven't played classical chess in maybe a month and a half, so that's my
Okay.
preparation. Just taking a break because I played maybe 6 or 7 tournaments in a row in summer.
Yeah.
And last tournament I played, I dropped 25 points because I was just burnt down completely after the marathon. Like I came back from the Olympiad, played a rapping tournament over the weekend, and then played another classical tournament over a week, and just completely crashed and burned. So I've just been trying to take a break a little bit. And yeah, in Romania I'm gonna warm up. It's gonna be my biggest concern right now is probably jet lag, honestly.
Okay.
Like I could change my sleeping schedule one way or another, but because I'm playing a tournament and then I'm flying out to Los Angeles the next day, like I'm not gonna have a lot of time to acclimate to the time zone, right?
Yeah, no,
It's
you
like
won't.
a difference, so it's gonna be rough.
I
Might be
see.
sleeping games, honestly.
What will you do to compensate for that? Will you just sleep a bunch of
Sleep during
extra?
games. That's what I say. Sleep during games. What can I say?
Just close your eyes and take a nap during the game.
Enter the state of nirvana.
Yeah, I see that. Oh, that's very funny. Are you looking forward to anything in Los Angeles, like doing anything in Hollywood?
It's gonna be very cramped time wise, right? Personally, when I come to a tournament, I come to a tournament, right? I don't really care where it is, unless it's maybe like near some seaside or something like that.
Right.
Then I might go to the beach.
You will be about 10 minutes from the beach, by the way.
Oh, so yeah, I go to the beach.
There you go. That's a great place to relax and burn off the jet lag.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited just to be back in the States, honestly, because it's been a couple months, and I enjoy being there. I enjoy playing tournaments in there. Well, not all tournaments.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing everything that's non-continental chess. So
Sorry, continental chess. That's a hot take from Titus.
I mean, if I have to bring my own board, it's not a tournament. It's a get together.
Okay, that's constructive criticism for them.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be. I'm just happy to be back. That I'm gonna be back in the States very
Right.
soon.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for taking the time today to speak with us, and you give us that little insight into your life. It's important that players like you are, seen, and so hopefully, some younger players learn from this, and those players in Lithuania that look up to you, they'll follow your games. So good luck, and thanks again, Titus. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right.